Fiamma, it's so lovely to have you here in New York. We miss you in New York, you know. When you and Sandro were here, we used to see each other a lot. But now you moved to Rome. You've got so much knowledge about art. I want you to tell me about Sandro's art gallery, that very famous gallery that he had in Rome. And before anything else, you know, my book is about connections. It's fascinating how you and I met. Monica Wazir, who's a common friend, Indian common friend from Bombay, she met you at a restaurant. She told me that, you know, you were sitting on the table next to her. You just started talking. And then when she came to New York, she said, I met this lovely woman and you must meet her, Marina. And that's how you and I met. So this is how it is. If you are open to connections, you meet beautiful people in life. So it was wonderful, wonderful to meet you, Sandro. And Charlotte and I have enjoyed knowing the two of you. So I want to know a little bit, starting with Sandro. Tell me about his gallery in Rome. Let's start with Sandro. Yes. Your wonderful husband. So elegant.
Open-minded and open-hearted husband. Yes. Sandro opened this gallery in Rome when he was 26 years old. He was just curious about art and literature. He wanted to open actually a publishing company. But a friend of his, Alberto Mondadori, was a son of Leonardo Mondadori. His father was a great publisher. He told him, my young guy, in these times, publishing company get closed, get open. Why don't we open an art gallery together? So Sandro opened his art gallery in Rome, in the center of Rome, next to the Spanish Steps, together with Alberto Mondadori, who was a collector as well, and another friend who was a theater actress, Laura Mazza. And so he was really the driving force of this gallery for half a century. Then in 1982, he moved to New York and he opened an office in New York. And what is incredible, it was his passion for human beings. Yes, he needed to do his business. He was really passionate about art and artists. He was taking care of them, buying colors for them, thinking of them, going everywhere to reach out to them. And then, one fine day, a common friend in Rome, we didn't know each other. I've been a journalist my whole life, a writer, but a common friend of ours invited me for a dinner in honor of this Sandro Manzo, who just had a library river show opening in his gallery in Rome. So I went to this very social art dinner with people from Milan, fancy people from Milan, from Florence, from Rome, from Naples, from all over Italy, and it was quite boring, but the only different guy was this guy with bright black eyes, long hair, big nose, very smart looking. And so I started talking to him and asking him questions. And he thought I was very curious of him. So he went back to New York, but he told his gallery to keep inviting me to all these openings. And once he came back from the States, and he invited me for lunch at Babington in Piazza di Spagna. And then invited me for another art show opening, and invited me for dinner. At our second date, at the end of the meal, he told me, with a glass of champagne, he told me, why don't you come to New York? And I said, yes, maybe I do. I have friends in New York. And he goes, yes, but I want to marry you. It was our second date, and I saw in front of my eyes a green grass field with a train flooded with sunlight, and this train was about to leave. There were 3 steps to get on the train, and in a flash I asked myself, shall I go up or not? And I answered to him, why not? I answered to his proposal. Why not? Without knowing very much of it. I only knew that he had a gallery. He thought I was crazy. He thought this woman must be crazy to say why not to my proposal without not doing anything. And that was the beginning of our journey. Then he left, the day after he left to New York, and we kept writing letters to each other every day, like in the old times, like in the 19th century. So for the first months, we were just trying to know each other through letters or talking on the phone when it was late for him, good time for me, or late for him, and early in the morning for him. So we knew each other through letters and talks. That was the beginning of our journey.
Oh.
And then I moved to New York with my daughter Julia, was 6 years old at that time. And since then we spent 31 years here in this wonderful city. And I got the chance to meet you and Shokat from Monica in Rome. This is another chapter.
Yes,
It's about connections.
So tell me about because it became a very important gallery in Rome.
The gallery was really the driving force of the art world in Rome because he imported to Rome artists like Bob Rauschenberg, Roy Lichtenstein, Larry Rivers, Motherwell. So he brought all these incredible American painters to Rome. He also represented a Spanish painter like Manolo Valdez, a Colombian painter as Botero, Fernando Botero, and many others. Because he was open to the art world, he was curious, and he was passionate, he was traveling the world, he was flying from Chicago to LA, to Athens, to India. And I must say that when we went to India, and Rajasthan in particular, he wanted to purchase Indian miniatures with what he made sure to do. And so he lived, his driving force was passion, curiosity, interactions with human beings, and connections.
And like you,
Well,
you're very easy.
yes.
And you entertain so beautifully. You cook yourself, which is again I love people who cook because I cook myself.
Yes.
And lovely home come for beautiful dinners. And your recipes are always so light and beautifully prepared, and so much elegance in the two of you. Really, it's a pleasure between the artwork in your apartment. I have some pictures which I'll put up. And now tell me the story about Caravaggio, the story in your family.
Yes. We were just together at the Metropolitan Museum, and I want to share something that is part of my life. Because at the Metropolitan, one of the few Caravaggio's paintings that are hanged in the room of the museum belonged to my aunt, to the elder sisters of my mom. And it was she was living with us in Milan, so that painting stayed in our home for 20 years. So when the Metropolitan got the painting and they hanged up the painting on the wall, I received a press release from the museum because being a journalist, they were sending me the invitations to the opening. And when I received this invitation to see this Caravaggio painting just hanged on the wall, I had goosebumps because that was a story of my youth, of my life. So I went, and when I entered the room and saw the painting that was hanging on our fireplace in Milan, on the wall of the Metropolitan Museum, I say just thank you. Thank you, God, for giving me such a life filled with beauty, with also challenges, with friends, with incredible stories. And so that's what I wanted to share.
No, it's a lovely story. How many people own Caravaggio? So, and your daughter, she works for
Shirin Ishat. My daughter is an artist herself, but even though she wouldn't call herself an artist. And she's been the studio manager for Shirin Ishat for 15 years. And they helping her producing videos, making films, taking care of curators, of museums, of collectors. It's an incredible job. It's a 360-degree job, actually.
Tell me about your book.
My book, Buongiorno Palestina, Good Morning Palestine, was a consequence of another project I started with a friend a few years before, in 2008. Mariam Said invited me to launch a film at the Lincoln Center called Knowledge is the Beginning. This film was on the West Eastern Lebanon Orchestra, made with musicians from Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, you name them, all the Middle Eastern countries. And these musicians played and worked and traveled together. And even though their countries were at war, we got along. I was inspired by this film, and so when I left the theater, I told Mariam, Mariam, I want to do something out of this. The next time I went back to Italy, I started putting the roots of a film festival. So we started working on a film festival called Without Borders. So since I was a child, I was a strong believer that we are one. We are part of one world with different ethnicities, but we are all humans. We can share and learn and help each other. There is a beautiful African proverb which became the introduction to our festival. If you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go together. And that's the sense of my life. I want to go far. You know, I really love this world. I love life. I'm curious. I think that there is a lot to do that we can do together. So from that festival, after watching this film on this orchestra founded by Edouard Said, who was a Palestinian professor in Columbia for 14 years, and Daniel Barenboim, the Israeli Jewish conductor, they got together and they created this beautiful project. So I went to see the school, the West Eastern Lebanon School in Ramallah, and a friend, a colleague of ours, Suad Amiri, who is a writer and architect and lives in Ramallah, introduced me to many artists. And Mariam Said from New York gave me connections to many more artists, but also movie makers, artists, musicians. So Sandra and I went together. We went also not only to the West Bank, but we went to Gaza to meet with these incredible human beings and such a resilience. No matter how much they've been controlled by the Israeli army and they have been occupied for 75 years, they keep working. And I truly believe that artists are the ambassadors of our time. They create connections without borders, without colors, without religions. And it's so powerful. Also today we went walking across the rooms and the Metropolitan Museum, looking at paintings put together from El Greco to Picasso. And it was such an inspiration to see like the art language goes through the centuries, goes through the countries, and it connects. We're really connected by the language and arts. Thank you very much.